Yeah, I really need to get my mic on a button. Mic mute. uh, Hopefully it may be awake this time. I know I was having a lot of trouble last time, but I'm getting that under control. All right, welcome to Evidence-Based Audio number 208. We've got a couple new places of broadcasting to. We'll see how that works. I might pull them off, but we'll see. So this episode is, again, 208, and this is Anti-Clickbait, and AMP modeling is dead. Now, I'm not saying AMP modeling is dead. I'm dealing with the clickbait guys saying AMP modeling is dead. Depending on, probably doesn't matter what kind of thing you're into. If you watch YouTube, you're probably sick to death of clickbait nonsense, or you see it on social media all over the place, or people put some provocative title and then take 10 minutes to actually tell you what it's actually about. It's very similar to like the long pitch sales from all the MLM scammers and pyramid schemes and things like that. You see it on all these health scams and everything else. We talk about our industry taking some pride in the alleged smooth braininess of it, and so we should be above this sort of thing, but we're not. And whatever. You guys hear me talk about clickbait all the time, and a lot of this is, frankly, it's Susan Wojcicki's fault or whatever from YouTube, right? She was forcing people to run longer videos than necessarily just in order to get ad revenue, and a lot of that came from the adpocalypse, which again is YouTube's fault, So I can't blame the content creators too terribly much, but you know what? I don't have to watch them, and neither do you. But anyway, so here, let's go on here. This is a post over at the Gear Forums. It's called "Gee Whiz, Modeling is Dead," and this is a sarcastic take on other titles which have been coming up lately. Tons and tons and tons of them. AMP modeling is dead, whatever. And you got people saying stuff from all different sides. You just turn the AC off. My phone's probably going to be ringing a lot this morning, so I'm sorry. There's going to be some mutes and pauses, but hopefully we'll take care of that with... Yeah, see, I should really... I got a Stream Deck. Why don't I have my mic mute on one of the buttons, right? I guess actually I do. Let me see if that works. Click. Nope, doesn't seem to do anything. Okay. Check. Yeah, my mic mute doesn't work. Checkity check. Yeah. Well, I'll fix that later. Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, so here's the thread. And the first one up is I don't know who this guy is. Says, okay, so regarding the intro and the thumbnail, no clickbait and no hyperbolic statement here. I honestly think that modeling is dead. However, let's see how long it takes to actually talk about this. So let's, I'm just going to play a little bit of this. If you DMCA me, okay, you guys may know I'm going through another round of these fake DMCA claims against me. People claiming my speaking voice is their property, or that snare samples coming out of my studio is their property. Facebook, you should do better. YouTube, you know better. Google, you pretend to be better, but you guys are the ones constantly doing this. Anyway, any of you guys making these videos here, don't DMCA me. I'm just, this is fair use. Please don't make me put the fair use sticker on here.
Well, it's official. Modeling is dead.
There's a clickbait. We're probably going to listen to this guy play for a while. Let's see.
Hey guys, I hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My apologies for the way everything looks right now. I actually have...
Blah, 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 blah. You know what? If you want to make a long video, that's fine, but let's not pretend this ain't clickbait. Actually, I don't know this guy's channel. 16 minutes. Let's see how long it's before it actually gets into this.
A subscriber's
I'm not going to make you guys watch all
setup
these videos. We're gonna take a look at a couple of them.
in front of me. I'm actually setting it up and dialing it in for him, putting a bunch of presets and a lot of captures in for him. So all he has to do is turn it on and play it. So shout out to my friend Jeff Cornell. This thing's coming your way very soon, and it's sounding amazing. And while we're talking about the Quad Cortex and presets and captures and everything, feel free to click the link.
All right, so this guy's already shilling for the Quad Cortex. Okay, I know. Look, we probably shouldn't. This is gonna be one of the videos that we're going through today. I probably shouldn't say too much about Quad Cortex. I know we've oh boy, I know I was kind of responsible for having some of them sent back. But it's just because it's not doing what the customers needed it to do at the moment. Maybe it will soon, but just the fact that this guy's talking about Quad Cortex kind of has me a little bit sketched out. But anyway, let's go on.
Below in the description and get some awesome captures, presets, or whatever.
Okay, so he's selling this stuff now. He still haven't talked about why it's
get
dead.
Some profiles for your Kemper on my website, tonewars.com. Okay, so regarding the intro and the thumbnail,
all right, here we go.
No clickbait and no hyperbolic statements here. I honestly think that modeling is dead. I've actually been saying it for about a year now.
People always say AMP modeling is dead. What do they mean by that? Do they mean that, any sort of modeling by capturing, profiling, or by component modeling, or just by putting EQs and the regular DSP is dead? So many people mean so many different things by that. I'm assuming because he's sitting in front of a Quad Cortex, he means that actually component modeling or behavior modeling is dead. But let's see.
Oh, probably a little more than that. If you watch my live streams, people ask me all the time, like, what do you think the future of modeling is, or what should I get, a modeler or a profiler? And I always steer people towards profilers because I think that's the way of the future. Any company that's about to release a new digital platform that only does modeling is literally the equivalent to Sony coming out with a new VCR player.
Okay. Now, I've been a little bit critical of this guy so far. I believe what he says right here. If you're coming out with a new platform and you don't do profiling or captures or whatever, that's a bad idea. If you're trying to compete in the flagship realm with the Helix and the Fractal units and now Quad Cortex, and now of course we're going to probably be talking about Headrush Prime. You need captures, man. Tonex just came out and seriously and rightfully swept the market with their $400 little pedal. I have some problems. I would love it if that were a full-size Amplitude rig instead of because I can't take that big pedal and stick it on my pedal board with my Helix. But you notice when I said Helix and Fractal, those two don't do captures. Their market is probably secure enough that they get to stay there, but after people use Tonex and stuff, and especially since you can share profiles, if I were in the market for a brand new processor, big old floor pedal board, whatever, amp modeler thing, I would probably not buy it if it couldn't do captures. I'll be honest. We've heard from some of the people who make the Helix, over at Line 6, that they didn't want to do capturing, but I think they're going to have to. And I think we've, luckily Line 6 is in touch with their user base. And I think the user base has spoken loudly enough that Line 6 should probably do this. I would love to see it on Helix. I'm not sure it's going to happen. And, that's not to say that modeling isn't good. So I halfway agree with this guy that, you should probably do capturing on any new gear that you're making. You're probably cutting your own throat if you don't. I'm not taking this right now. But I don't think that modeling itself is dead. I don't think component modeling is dead or DSP or whatever. It's really good. There's an argument that the only way you can really, make accurate things is to model. You know, if you like, you know, you turn the knob, you want it to act like when you turn the knob on the real amp, whereas captures allegedly can't do that. I don't think that's true, and I think there's plenty of examples already in our industry where you take a couple captures of things, samples, for instance, of I mentioned a pipe organ. So pipe organ is an incredibly complex beast. I know it doesn't seem like it's one of the oldest instruments out there. One of them, you know, not as old as hitting a stick against a rock or whatever. But people were thinking they're going to have to take so many dynamic readings of a pipe organ in order to make it work for samplers and stuff, and it really wasn't as many samples as you would have thought. I was very surprised by how that was done. Let's go on this. I think we got the gist of this. I don't know, it's 16 minutes. A lot of these videos, it's a guy talking, and he'll just make you watch him play guitar for a while. But then again, I make you just listen to me babble all the time, so sorry about that.
Maybe has Wi-Fi or something. I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's outdated, and there's better tech out there, and profiling is far superior to modeling, and that, again, is the way everything is going now, and there's a reason.
I don't believe that profiling is superior to modeling, but I don't believe that modeling is superior to profiling. You guys know I've been trying to capture my favorite bias amp sounds, and having a hell of a hard time with it, by trying to copy it with an actual modeler, whereas the profiling system in Revolver did it right away, and Tonex did it pretty well. Not as well as Revolver, strangely enough, and then Audio Assault had something that actually worked pretty well for this as well.
Reason for it.
Tom
So
here,
if you're a
let's see what
company
he's
right
doing.
now that's about to release a new digital platform that only does modeling, you're kind of wasting your time, or maybe you're just going after a lower price point and you want to service people that can't afford the, you know, the upper end stuff that's out there. And I get that. There is a space for lower priced products out there for people who can't afford the top of the line stuff.
It's not about a 40. Come on, man. This is like Strawman Central. And this guy, let's remember he's sitting in front of a quad Cortex. So that's got its own. It's not about the money. The Tonex only costs $400. The Helix is $1,500. So let's. I don't know if we really need to watch this
out there, but
we'll see.
I would just say that if you're releasing a new product that only does modeling, then you are either going to be releasing an obsolete product from the get, you know, it's obsolete, or you're just going after a lower tier price bracket. And I don't.
Wow, just poison that well, huh? I've got a surprise. This guy's just going for the throat. No, look, I really want Helix to have captures and profiles, but I don't believe that they're better. It's just different.
I don't mean that with any disrespect. I mean, the market
sure.
just is what it is, and trends are what they are, and you have to follow those trends. And there's.
So you see that if you don't buy a capturing system, you're poor. As if that's something to be ashamed of, anyway. Whatever.
Reasons for them. I mean, you could see it with the way all the digital platforms are going now. I mean, Headrush just released the Headrush Prime, and it profiles.
Oh yeah, now name the two big ones.
You also have the Tonex, which also profiles. Obviously, the Quad Cortex, which profiles, and then you have the one that started it all, which is the Kemper, which profiles as well. And
which is like 20 years old or something. Come on, get out of here.
Forget about this new product called NAMM, N-A-M-M, and it is a profiler that.
That's software. Okay, we're going to talk about that, but you can't replace. You can't easily replace hardware with software. Look, I'm the one who made the bringing the studio to the stage articles for, years ago, where I was talking about how to make a very simplified laptop or iPad or whatever setup and take your studio guitar sound with all your software to your shows. But is it easy? No. Having a little pedal board that does this stuff for you is so much simpler. And look, even if RME outfitted me with a bunch of baby faces or something, I don't know that I would just load them into Gig Performer and go to a show. I like my Helix, man. There's some simpler stuff out here. Okay, Tom is saying that he's got some 8-at chords he wants to show. So let's take a look here. Okay, you are on, Tom. Let's see. Let me put you on the thing. How do I do this? Let's see. Give me video and audio. Okay, well, show me when you get it. I don't see anything yet. Let me know when you're ready. All right, I'm going to shrink them down again. Okay, so I don't know if we really need to watch much more of this. Let me see if we can get some of the points that are going here. And of course, I think that the guy who started this all out was Clickbait Junkie XL. This is a guy who sells what he calls profiles, and I would call them profiles or presets or whatever to make okay. Tom says he's ready. Okay, yeah, show me. Go ahead. What do you got? All right. I don't see you. Okay, you are on. Let's see. What do you got here? So Tom went and bought some ADAT cables that allegedly are better than the ones that I've been dealing with. So let's see. I have to unblock camera and audio. Okay. Anyway, so Tone Junkie XL, they sell like just like Chop Tones does, presets and with IRs and everything that are meant to sound like certain songs or certain amps and stuff. And I tell you, Chop Tones, I was blown away by how well they did the Metallica stuff. So I'm sure this guy's stuff is good, but if you've ever watched one of his videos, you just want to smack him. I don't know. Let me play this while it's just always so snarky and just so condescending. You just like, wow. All right, well, I'm going to move Tom off of here for a second. So
warning, the following is my opinion. And even though it's 100% correct, it's just my opinion. So there's a trigger warning. Trigger warning for all the modeling bros who are about to get their undies in a bunch. You know what I'm saying? Well, hello there. My name is HW. Thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV.
Okay, now I think he's going to take the opposite tact that you don't care about the captures, but let's see.
This thing is not even on. My friends, I was right. Modeling is modeling is dead. How did we get here?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I'm sitting on a plane with a modeler right now, but I guess it's dead. But, you know, it's kind of like when they said BMX was dead. Remember that one? That was before Matt Hoffman.
Impressed. Now, I'm not just here to brag and point out that 2 years ago I made this video called Modeling is Dead, and 8 months ago I then made this follow-up video, It's Over, Modeling is Peaked. No. I want to recap those real quick to show how we got here, but actually I really want to focus on the future and where this brings us. Where does this bring the modeling community, and what does this mean for us? Because we actually got here a lot faster than I thought we were going to get here. These videos have been 2 of the best performing on my channel. They've actually connected me with a lot of people in the modeling industry. I had several people reach out to me, and this led to some pretty great relationships. First video, Modeling is Dead. I basically point out that we have this situation forming in the modeling world where after looking at the Kemper market, it became obvious to me that when you open up creation to the community, when you sort of democratize tone, the community can end up making more tones that serve all of the small niches of the market.
Wait, you can't do that with physical modeling that we have right now? Wasn't that what the entire IR industry is? Isn't that what you do every single day? Okay. I just had to interject.
Much better than a centralized group of developers who are modeling maybe component by component or sort of amp by amp or whatever, right? And then the question becomes, well, does the community even want more, right? Just because outsourcing it to the community and results in more supply, is there demand to fill it? And what we see with demand, and I'll tell you, as I would probably be an expert in how much demand there is for Kemper Profiles, Helix stuff, because I'm watching my sales. I'll tell you that there is seemingly no end in sight to the amount of boutique AC30 clones that people want to have profiled captured. There's no end in sight to the amount of vintage Marshalls with this mic or this speaker or that speaker.
So again, if you're really paying attention here, the reason for the phenomenon that he's describing, and again, I don't know how to say this easily, but when you capture an amp, you capture it at a certain setting. If you were to turn one of the knobs on the amp, on the captured side, not on the amp that you're actually capturing, but the thing that you actually created with your capture or your profile, it may not respond the way the actual amp that you're modeling did. There's some ways to make it happen, and I'm not going to say it doesn't, but right now, it doesn't necessarily. It may even be close. It may be closer than the critics would say, but you aren't necessarily modeling everything about that amp. So like, let's say the thing had channel switching and stuff like that. You're not modeling the switches. So the reason you're saying this, it doesn't, it's actually kind of a straw man.
There is no end in sight to a tone crafted specifically for blues, crafted specifically for jazz, crafted specifically with these effects in mind, or this type of thing, maybe ambient or worship in mind. There is no end in sight. I just had one of the most successful product releases I've ever had in Tone Junkie history. Do you know what it was? An EVH inspired pack. There's no end in sight to the amount of artist packs people want. And all of those things that I just described have been ideas that have been given to me by the community for which I have then gone and created products around, right? So I just listen to the community. I watch, where is the community saying there's demand? And I try to come in with supply, right? And this is how I sort of combine my love of investing in economics with tone and guitar and entrepreneurship and YouTube and all of these things, right? And so then now here we are, right? And I think you see that that is really true with Cortex Cloud. Look how many captures are on Cortex Cloud. Look at ToneNet. And one of the greatest features is every week ToneNet puts out a top 10 most downloaded, most, and I find most liked, and I find myself competing, right? And every week it's me and Amalgam Audio just kind of fighting out for who's the top that week, who gave away the best free thing, right? And I love that. The competition makes me better because I see he puts out stuff and I go, I got to do something like that. And it makes everybody better, right? It's like the old principle, as iron sharpens iron.
So what is modeling dead? Why is modeling dead? Is modeling dead?
And there's this rubbing, this.
All right, I'm not gonna make you guys watch this crap. In the forum, he's saying, especially love all the mumbo jumbo about communities and democratization, which is rich coming from two guys who make a living those casually selling profile packs. Please, I click through these. You don't have to. Don't feed the trolls. Now, we got to remember that the big two, right? I don't think that the others are even close, but I could be wrong. But I'm assuming Fractal and Line 6 are the big two on this thing, and neither of them do profiling right now. So you see, yes, but what does Glenn Fricker think about it? Well, Glenn Fricker had a video with the clickbait thumbnail. The axe effect will be destroyed by this, $2,300, and instead, you're getting this Tone X. Let me see if this is what it is.
Some questions.
If I was the CEO of Kemper, Fractal, or Line 6, I would be horrified because of the rise of AI. What they have in their hands is old technology and probably have no clue how AI and machine learning works. We are living in interesting times.
I would tend to agree with most of that statement. Yeah, AI is going to be the great disruptor in a lot of things over the next 10 to 15 years. I think maybe even the next 2 or 3. We'll see. I did a video there on Tonex a few weeks back, and a lot of you guys were like, oh, I wouldn't want to bring that on stage. I'm not bringing my laptop on stage. It's like, motherfucker, have you even seen a MacBook Air? The battery lasts like 16 hours and it doesn't crash. Of course I'd want to bring that on stage. I have no problem bringing that on stage. But as far as Tonex is concerned, there are some interesting developments coming along. And yes, that is an AI amp modeler, and it's absolutely sick.
Okay, let's see if Tom's got his stuff. Okay, you ready there, Tom? I can't hear you. Still don't hear you. Why don't I hear you? Tom's going to show us the new ADAT cables.
Check, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay, I'm going to make you big. How do I switch to you? Okay. All right, let's see this cable end. All right, sorry, everybody. Well, I'm going to move him back down until we figure this out. So let me finish.
As far
up
as
the
I'm
plan here.
concerned, I've been using it quite a bit on the show, and it works fucking great.
Oh, yeah,
so much
language
so
learning.
I'm remodeling my control room and probably moving this giant wall of tube amps out of here because I just don't need them all here all the time anymore. So interesting times indeed. But I mean, it's not just in terms of modeling guitar amps. If I was a mastering engineer, I would be fucking terrified of what's coming up right now, because programs like Ozone, which do AI mastering, do the job extremely well. And like, the whole point of a mastering engineer is to hand the guy a couple of CDs and go, make it sound like this or make it sound like this, and he tries to get you the EQ profile and get the dynamics under control of whatever your favorite records are. Now you can just point the AI at your...
Okay, so never mind the modeling. What he just said right there should be terrifying to anybody. And for the longest time, we always said, oh, AI will never this, AI will never that. AI's doing it. And anybody who said never, you always hear me saying that, never say never, right? Because technology moves on. And I've been telling people for decades that there will be no jobs, nowhere near the amount that we have now for people. If you can describe the job accurately, a robot can do it. That's just how it is. All right. The mastering thing, I know it's still so subjective, but if you've listened to the AI mastering algorithms, they're scary good. Now, I've worked with the same mastering engineer for decades, same two mastering engineers. And I rely on them to double check my work, even as I'm tracking, even as I'm mixing. I don't think that relationship's going away anytime soon, but man, if I just needed a certain sound to come out on an album, I think these things can do it. I've seen plenty of people doing it, actually. All right, so let's go back to Tom here.
And there's been some AI, a series of AI algorithm things released. When I heard it, was about 3 weeks ago. So it must be 5, 6, or 7 weeks ago. And Mark Cuban was talking about it, and he was saying the exact same thing you're saying about they're going to take all the jobs, and then what do? You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Lander already is doing mastering for a lot of people.
And it's not if it's going to do it, it's when it's going to do it.
Yep.
Because people are working in these jobs that are already. It's like Mark Cuban says about some of these companies, they're dead, they just don't know it. Anyway,
yeah, had it not been for the chip shortage, there'd be already so many fewer jobs right now. But let's see that ADAT cable.
Okay, so I've been using this ADAT cable, which you should recognize because it's the one of the ones I gave you, right?
Yep.
And in order to get it to lock on the ADAT, I've been having to use hot glue, right?
Yeah, which is what I do too.
And then the other one I've been using is these old. I've had these for years. These these ADAT cables, the light pipes.
Oh, yeah,
right?
the original.
But one thing I found when I turned it and I looked at it, the light was really, really weak. All right, so I wasn't getting a good signal. Right, so I went out and I bought 2 of these. I only really need 1 of these, Mark. Aaron, and I got them with you in mind. So these cables right here, check them out. They're gold. Where's mine?
Oh wow.
They're gold all around. They're smaller than the other ones.
So they can fit next to each other. Yeah, that's another problem.
So they don't pull down on the thing, and I don't need to hot glue them. And these are like I buy the $195 guitar cables.
Yeah.
Right, like that $195 guitar cable, which I think sounds great. But these are those same type of cables. These are like super, super expensive. So not that if you're doing just being you're going to get a very robust and strong signal constantly through the thing. So let's see how long it's about long. I guess 5 or 6 feet from my fingertip to fingertip. But isn't that pretty? They don't.
So it's actually metal, or is that plastic?
Corrode or anything like that.
So it is metal. The end is actually metal. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, can
Good
you not hear
investment.
me?
It's so nice having a strong ADAT lock.
Yeah.
Because if I take it up and pay that lock and put it on internal, I can hear the jitter. The jitter just goes wham up.
All right, so
So are
that
you
end is
there,
actually
Aaron?
metal, right? Or man, I don't think he can hear me. Let's see,
Aaron
audio.
disappeared on me. I can get him back by just playing. I've been playing Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and I can just hit the button and have music play through his thing. He'll come back up real quick.
Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. Well, those are good. I'm gonna move it back
Anyways,
down.
I'm going to rehook this back up.
Okay.
Such a difference.
All right. So he can't hear me.
And
so
again,
that's fine.
the old one was real heavy, and it pulled down, especially on my Apollo Universal Audio, which got kind of hit with the bang there. But now I don't have to hot glue it. I don't have to do nothing. I can get my switches out.
Yeah, man, I got to get some metal ends. All right, so I'm gonna move Tom back down to the thing. Sorry about that. Okay, so anyway, so Glenn's was talking about the Tonex, and you remember that was a $400 thing. So I know we're kind of going all over the place on here, but let's get back here. So somebody else says, we definitely don't have the same hearing. I've yet to hear any profiles, either Kemper or Quad Cortex, that sound any better than Helix or Fractal. Love how he's tagged Fractal users as cultists over and over. Well, you know, I tend to call lots of people who are like gear fanatics cultists, especially Apple. I mean, that's the worst one of all, right? But he's got a point. The amp models themselves are very, very good. If you've watched any of these comparison videos where people just straight out compare an amp to its modeled amp on Helix or on the line, the Fractal, like the Axe Effects or whatever, you won't be able to ABX between them. Or you won't be able to tell which one's the real one and which one's the allegedly fake one. They sound well, but the thing that capturing does, and see, this is why I don't think this is a false dichotomy. It's not an either or. The thing that the capturing can do very well is a specific tone from like a specific song, a specific rig, the exact setting somebody has. You just one snap and it gets it. If we talk about it today, I don't know. I'm kind of involved with very good friends with somebody who is involved with this product. But the Headrush put out their Prime, which is, I think we talked about it a couple last week. Headrush has their own thing to compete with these modelers, and it comes from the factory with a capture thing, just like Quad Cortex does. But I know I keep saying Quad Cortex, and I don't really want to. I don't wish ill on that company, but you know, I don't really recommend that stuff right now. Anyways, so let's see. Of course, I've been so stupid. The awesome sounds and devices I currently have access to will be useless to me tomorrow. You know, it's just not gonna happen. Cultists, all of you. Now there were some. Let me see if I can find some more of this stuff here. So somebody says modeling may very well be dead, but I still sure do like the way Axe Effects 3 sounds. I still like the way Helix sounds. Even though I now have a Kemper, Tonex, and more devices, I still really like component modeling. Just for my workflow now, though, capture technology seems to be better for me. That may change next week or next year, but for right now, I enjoy working with captures more. Okay, so here we go. So this is from Paisley Wookie. And I think he addresses the false dichotomy right here. I don't really care how we arrive at the sounds, as long as they're good and they're flexible. Right now, only modeling offers the latter. As for the YouTubers, they need to get a regular job and or start streaming Warzone or Minecraft, then they can make some real money. And then people are complaining about actually paying people for captures or profiles. But I was like, yeah, I was perfectly happy to pay Chop Tones for the Metallica presets. They're amazing. They really were, I think. So it says, get a proper amp and then we'll talk. So somebody puts up a gorilla. If you played guitar in the 80s or early 90s, you probably had a gorilla amp. So somebody else, James Freeman, of course, he says selling profiles is dead. The only thing that's left are those modeling is dead videos to squeeze a few last bucks from its decomposing carcass. Okay. I think there was something else that I really wanted to show from this, all this nonsense. Sorry. Pretty sure that may have been the end of this. Hold on, sorry. Let me just go back to. Thought there might be one more. Yeah, see, they pretty much clowned out the thread at this point. Oh yeah, somebody actually shows a pretty good Eddie Van Halen chain from a fractal, and I guess we could play a little bit of this.
Which I will explain. Setting those to 2 mono delays, 1 at 500 milliseconds with a hard left pan, and 1 at 375
Remember, this is an actual modeler, not
right
a
pan.
capturing system.
And it sounds like this. Pretty darn huge, I reckon.
So, a lot of these guys are saying that, hey, you know what, and they're repeating this thing about how you can't adjust capture. And I don't think that's true either, though. I think I think both sides here are kind of missing the point. You can make a capture and you can still turn the knobs. I could pull up ToneX right now and turn a knob, and it may not act exactly like the amp would, but it's still going to act like you're turning a knob on some device. Of course, where the tone stack is matters. There's some things that are going to make a difference, but So James Freeman is saying it captures profiles will never be as versatile or as fun as full component models. Take a Friedman or a model of it, for example, HBE, fat switch, saturation, C45, bright switches, tone stack, and most importantly, the master volume. A single amp model is very versatile and personal experience. One thing though, if you guys remember, I made a video where I was showing how to make an amp simulator out of one of our compressors, the soft limit feature. And you can make distortion pretty similar. Yeah, I don't want to say it, but it wouldn't be all that hard to make sure that even after you captured, it'd be that close. But there's other ways of looking at it. I think I mentioned it on here. So let me so I said, yeah, this is a false dichotomy. There's no reason all these switches can't be taken into account on a profiling system. These guys are all talking about a single capture. You could do more. But you wouldn't necessarily need to, as long as if you could actually set up the component order before the capture, you could probably get pretty damn close. So somebody says, to answer me, isn't a profile like a snapshot of setting, changing a setting in a static snapshot? Is that possible? Wouldn't it become a new snapshot with that setting and such? Yes, it would become a new snapshot. But we're not saying, nobody is saying, because this isn't okay. This may be new to us, this guitar capturing stuff, but getting multiple samples of something and then interpolating between them, it's something we've been doing since there have been samplers, right? So James explains, like just how complicated some of this stuff can be, but so I said another capture is fine, maybe several of them. This wouldn't be super different than interpolated samples of instruments or 3D digitization of existing sculptures for mass production. But yeah, they're saying, yeah, not in its current state. Fine. Whatever. Okay, so let's so here's something. Here's another. Let's just listen to this for a second.
Do you want a Kemper but can't justify the $2,000 price tag? Well, I've got some good news for you. Today we're going to look at a studio quality profiling amp that you can get for free, and it sounds good. It sounds so good.
Okay, so this is talking about the neural amp modeler that we've been talking about for several months, years now. It's a free product. You go download it off GitHub, and it will do captures and play captures, and it uses AI and does all this stuff. Some people are having really good luck with it. I've tried a little bit. It seems cool, and like he says, it's free. However, again, this isn't hardware, so you're not replacing your hardware with this unless you are a non-risk averse person. You're willing to take a laptop on stage, and there's no reason. I love it if you take laptops on stage. I spend a lot of time figuring out how to make that stuff work. But again, it's not for everybody. So I don't know that this changes everything, but it is really cool.
If you're like me, you have a cool amp in your room that sounds great, but you have no way of recording it. There are tons of excellent amp sim plugins out there, and in the past few years, profiling amps like Kemper, Line 6 Helix, and Amplitude's Tone.
Helix is not a profiling amp. Let me say it again. We just spent the last 40 minutes talking about how Helix is not a profiling amp. Helix models, like component modeling, whatever, DSP, whatever they're doing. It is not a profiling amp. It does not do captures. No. Let me play this again.
Years, profiling amps like Kemper, Line 6 Helix, and Amplitude's Tone X have been making waves in the guitar community. These profiling amps let you create perfect replicas of your amps, give a consistent tone every time you use them, and provide guitarists access to a massive catalog of amazing amps. You no longer need to mic up loud amps, rent studio time, or lug tube-filled heads out to shows, obliterating your lower back in the process. There's one catch though. The price tag. A Kemper Profiler or a Line 6 Helix cost around $2,000, and for a lot of us, that's an investment that we can't justify. Enter Neural Amp Modeler from Stephen Atkinson.
So I wonder, is this one just one of those Upwork guys that doesn't have any idea what the hell they're talking about, and they just make YouTube videos like the ones you see on microphones all the time? This guy can actually play guitar, so I don't know. But he obviously doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that this will change the world of guitar amp sims. This new amp profiler is free and open source, meaning that anyone can use it and any code-minded guitar players can build off of it, meaning it will only get better over time. Neural Amp Modeler is a 64-bit VST/AU plugin that will run in most DAWs and has a standalone version. The interface is straightforward with an input gain, a noise gate, a 3-band EQ, and output gain. It also features an impulse response section.
All right, I'm not going to make you guys any dumber than this. But, you know, it's neat that people are excited about this. I hope that somebody said Helix is not a profiler. I don't know. Should I even bother? Let's leave that guy alone. Okay. Now, you know, I have my own problems with this guy. This is Concern Troll KDH. This guy always puts on that oh so worried about everybody. I'm offended on other people's behalf. I'm scared on other people's behalf kind of thing, which drives me nuts. But I guess about 2 years too late. Okay, we've talked about the Quad Cortex a lot. Maybe I'll play a little bit of this video, but it's called The Quad Cortex is in Trouble. Let's just get down to it. They made a lot of promises at release time. Some of them weren't that specific about when it would happen, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago or whatever. 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. One of them was being able to run their plugins on the unit, on the quad cortex itself. And look, we've talked about this many times. I'm no fan of people making all these multiple incompatible ecosystems. Like, with Line 6 Helix's Helix Native or Amplitude's, IK's Amplitude, or THU, THX, whatever, the overloud one. Whenever they release new products, it goes inside the same ecosystem. So you can always put in that new pedal or take it out. With the neural stuff, you have to, they're separate plugins. They don't run together. If they would have gone onto the quad cortex itself, that's another story, but that has yet to happen. The other one is having an actual editor. And this is, I gotta say, for Headrush Prime, you've got to get that desktop editor out as fast as you can. That's something that people aren't going to put up with. It's a big reason why the quad cortexes went back, is that like the promises just didn't come to fruition. But I'll play this a little bit.
In the world of video games, you don't have to look far to see botched releases, with games overpromising and under-delivering. But thankfully, this phenomenon isn't particularly common, at least at this point, in the guitar world. You can't really overpromise a distortion pedal, and a valve amp is a valve amp. But with the ever-increasing list of digital modelers, the plague of overpromising and under-delivering is starting to rear its head. And sadly, a case of this can be seen with the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. Neural DSP were founded in 2017, and while relatively new, they are far from inexperienced, with one co-founder being the founder of Dark Glass Electronics, known for their bass pedals and bass amps, with the other co-founder working for Dark Glass. But Neural DSP were going to be the guitar-focused company, and quickly built a name for themselves in the field of plugins, software that emulates amplifiers on a desktop computer. There were notable amp brand collaborations and artist collaborations, and a plugin ranges from about €100 all the way up to €180. And these were a huge success because while many might not be able to afford a Soldano or a Fortin amp, they could probably afford a plugin of a Soldano or a Fortin amp. So the plugins were a major success. People bought and
One of the big problems is they keep releasing these plugins instead of delivering the stuff they've been promising.
Continue to buy multiple plugins from Neural, and now what have you got? Well, an existing customer base who are invested in your product and your ecosystem. So what can you offer them? At NAMM 2020, Neural released the Quad Cortex, marketed as the most powerful floor modeler on the planet. Quite the claim, but it was true, and it was what everybody was talking about at the time. It was super hyped up, and it resulted in 2,000 pre-order unit sales just from the NAMM prototypes and the promises of what this unit could do. But some promises, years later, are yet to be kept. A warning sign might have been that some of the promises that Neural were making felt a little overexcited, like mentioning how the amount of amps, IRs, and effects will grow for eternity. Or that
as we go along, this is going to be, it's basically going to be updated for life.
Wow, it's quite a commitment.
You can say that again, but the promised features that are missing are actually the ones that were far more believable, like the ability to run the Neural plugins that you bought on this hardware device. That makes perfect sense for the existing customer base who are invested in this product line. If they like those sounds, they can use them live. Pretty cool. And this really was a big selling point to those who were existing plugin users. And it was talked about at NAMM.
So you will be able to log into your Neural DSP account. It will check if you already purchased any plugins from us, and you should be able to run it. The ones that we sell as archetypes or branded series like 14, Powered by Mega, and Dark Glass, those will not be included in the unit, but if you already purchased one of those, you should be able to have the format to run it in Cortex.
The concept behind this is it.
So they're claiming you could run the plugins in here, right? So
all of the virtual amp emulation that you make in a software format is now going to be available in a very high quality hardware processor for people playing live.
Yeah, we will have a big library of devices that people should have, as every modeler should have a list of devices. But we will also create a way to load the plugins that we have done inside the Cortex. You will be able to log into your account and just your account will recognize immediately what licenses you have purchased from the software, and then you will have the blocks available separately so you can combine them as you want.
And even stuff like the 14 amps, which I know has probably been the most successful one.
The plugin, we will create a format for the plugin so you can do it here.
Now let's be reasonable. The language used implies that this is going to be a feature available in the future. There's a lot of it will or it's going to, and that implies future. But this was a big selling point, so we do need to look at it a little bit closer. The clips I've shown are from January 2020, and the quad cortexes in the videos, those are the prototypes. But it was said that they would be ready in September of 2020. So it's kind of reasonable to assume that the future that Neural were talking about with the it will or it's going to be, that's more near future than several years later. And it's...
Yeah, I mean, 3 years is an eternity in the digital. But you know, what's interesting is that, you know, how old is the Helix? I think it came out in 2015 or something. And it's still going. It's 8 years. This is incredible to me.
Still boils down to, it was a selling point. It was even listed on the Sweetwater website for months. Another feature talked about was a desktop editor. This is a common enough feature now among modelers. It's handy for having modelers on the floor. You don't want to have to adjust
now this
presets
is dirty. We talked
going
about this
down there.
before.
You can just link it to your computer and you can do all with a click of a mouse. It's handy for studio use and a lot more. And it also makes a lot of sense for Neural, which is a company that primarily the customers are based at a desktop. It's plug-in based company. So having the adjustments of a quad cortex on a computer too makes sense. They even had a picture of this.
So this was bad. This was on Sweetwater's website. I think it's down now. But come on, guys. Come on. I mean, seriously. This still doesn't exist. And it was sitting on Sweetwater's website as part of the selling point of the amp. And when I alluded to earlier that I was responsible for some of these things getting returned, or part of it, whatever. This is why. This is people who they can't, they health-wise, they can't necessarily bend down to adjust the thing on the unit all the time. They need a desktop editor, and it showed on the website that the thing had it. It didn't. All right, it's enough beating up on the quad cortex. Let me move on. I know, oh man. So everybody's talking about this one right now, and I didn't want to be yet another guy, clickbait title, talking about this Wave stuff. But if you don't know, Waves just went to subscription only. A friend of the show, Chernobyl Studios, actually brought up a point that for a lot of users, it's actually going to be cheaper for them now with the subscription than it was before. But when we tell you that you don't own your plugins, you don't, man. Like, I mean, you know, as a company, we make it so that it seems like you do, okay? But Waves, for instance, your plugins will just stop updating after a while unless you pay again. And so now it's subscription only. So you're seeing all these videos. Waves goes subscription only. RIP Waves plugins. Why is Waves forcing us to use the subscription only plan? Open mouth soy face. Forced subscription model from Waves. No exceptions. Another soy face. New Waves creative access. Everything you need to know. New Waves creative access. All Waves plugins. One subscription. That's from Waves themselves, so it's probably nice. Someone else says Waves just made the dumbest mistake ever, and everybody's mad. Adam Steele. So Hot Pole Studios breaking news: Waves go subscription only. No more update plan. So he's saying they're the last big one to not be used in subscription. Interesting. Somebody else calls it a Waves extortion plan. So yeah, like White Sea Studio. This is why subs first subscriptions don't work. Who knows? I'm not going to bother you with that one, but it's just so you know. And finally, I got stuff to do today. I got to go run off in a second. I know you keep getting all these guitar and recording studio scam stuff in your Instagram and Facebook or whatever. And there's this one, be a music producer. And the ad, I can't find the ad now, of course, but it's like, do you need to be a music producer in Hawaii? Join and make $1 bajillion or something. Some kind of crazy ad. So here's their actual page. Interested in learning music production, learn to produce music, request degree info. And it's one of these bit.ly. Let's go. Let's see if this is a long sale here. Somebody just wrote back in, this is a scam. Let's check the comments first. Yes, but I don't have that kind of money yet. Whoa. How much did you pay back in student loans? How much is the fee? Gee, that's the thing about long tail scams like MLM scams. They never tell you how much it's going to cost up front. They always wait until the end to drop the price on you. What programs do you teach? A bunch of other guys like putting on their own spam attached to the spam, which is pretty funny actually. Yeah, see if people are just spamming the spam, which I love. Sorry. Oh, look at this. It's going to full sale. Is it really going to full sale? Zeta Global Holdings Corp. Let's see who that is. Kind of scary how so many things are going into these giant things. Let's see. Zeta Marketing. I don't know. Or is Zeta the people who are doing the marketing here? Edu degree link. Let's see what this is. Let's see if this is full sale. This is also full sale. God, could you believe this is full sale? Look at how crappy this webpage is. Learn to become a music producer. Request information for a degree in music production. What is your area of study? Let's just go to continue. Wow, full sale. This does not look like you did this. You know, full sale is no joke. Oh, here, let's go. Say just graduated 5,000 years ago. Wow. See, look, I'm trying to get any kind of price. Let's put mine in there. Go ahead. You guys can all spam me. No. Okay, that's not me, so whatever. View my result. Please enter your phone number. 555-555-5555. We're unable to match you to a program. Okay, I have no idea. Visit site, browse all programs. Get an education online, browse programs. Yeah, see, man, what a pile. Wholesale, you guys are better than this. Don't be involved in this crap. All right, I got to get, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Tom, for showing us the new ADAT cables. I'll see you.